We're going to be inviting next our guest speaker. But just before he comes on stage, I will share a quick citation on who he is. Mr. Stanley Mathew Evans MBE was born in England to an Irish mother and a Welsh father. He is a language enthusiast, fluent in English, with working knowledge of Hindi, Irish, and Welsh. His career spans from medical electronics to leadership roles in the automotive industry, including a 7-year tenure launching Porsche in India and later McLaren sports cars. Now CMO for Arc Insurance in Lagos. Stanley has also appeared in 14 Nollywood films. Okay. And the new Netflix series, Ordinary People. He is a strong advocate for social causes. Stanley co-founded India's Lumba Trust with Sir Richard Branyan and Sherry Blair to support education for widows' children. He also founded the British Business Group in both Chennai and Nigeria, which he chaired for 12 years. Now, through the Dawn Project, he promotes climate awareness by engaging children in poetry and art through an annual competition. In 2022, Stanley was awarded an MBE by Queen Elizabeth for his services to the British industries overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, right next, our guest speaker for his presentation, Mr. Stanley Mathew Evans, MBE, the Chief Marketing Officer, Arc Insurance. Please, a round of applause and keep those hands clapping until he gets here. I'm trying to see the face from Nollywood movies. Let's see. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. MC. I've had some wonderful introductions in my time, and I can say that's the most recent. Please forgive me if I stand on existing protocol as our Deputy High Commissioner did, but I truly am honoured to stand here before you, and I say Ikaso, good evening, a bore da Cymru am byth, diolch yn fawr, which is Welsh. It's an honour to address you today as we reflect on the enduring partnership between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, a relationship rooted in trade, diplomacy and cultural exchange. But let me say first that in the 9 years I've worked here, I've developed a love for Nigeria and its culture, the people, the tenacity and drive, and of course, most of all, that marvellous Nigerian humour. Let me give you an example. This suit was tailor-made by a local tailor called Oki Mushroom. So when he came to see me, he gave me a selection of cloths, a selection of linings for the sleeve and a selection of lining for the pockets. And when I looked at this lining, ladies and gentlemen, I said to him, Oki, that looks like Alexander McQueen. Is it real? He said, Oga, I beg, this is Nigeria, no ves. President Ray said that I ought to make some of this speech funny, so forgive me if I go off script for a moment and just tell you a story. So I moved to India, I emigrated to India in 2008, and over a several-month period I learned as much Hindi as I could, but prior to driving there, I was going along the motorway at 2:30 in the morning along the M1, and I was speeding. The speed limit in the United Kingdom is 70 miles an hour. And I was traveling around 85 or 90. I was actually taking back a rental car, then flying out to New Delhi. And I got stopped by a police officer. And he pulled me over and he said, "You're speeding." I said, "Officer, there's only you on the road and me on the road. It's 2:30, 2:45 in the morning." I said, "I'm leaving the country. I'm emigrating. Please, can you let me off?" He said, "The law is the law. I'm going to book you." So I said, "Officer, I don't have my driver's license with me. I have a new one when I get to India." He said, "It doesn't matter. I've got the registration number of your car. Give me your name and address." Ladies and gentlemen, I was so honoured at that time of my grasp of the Welsh language. He said, right, I'm going to write it down. So I said, my name is Stanley Evans. My address is 23 Cymriambith Crescent, Llanfair Pochwyndydd, Llwynthrobaia, Llandasilia, Gogogok, Llantrisant, Clwyd, Cymru. He said, I'll let you off with a warning on this occasion. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look to the future, it's clear that our shared path must adapt to meet the realities of a rapidly changing world. To thrive, we must confront the challenges of economic disparity, brain drain, otherwise known as JAPA, and inflation, while leveraging the immense potential between the United Kingdom and Nigeria. The UK has long been one of Nigeria's most important trade and investment partners, supporting growth in energy, agriculture, infrastructure and finance. The investments made by the UK government and British businesses have helped to create opportunities for both Nigeria and British businesses. However, today our partnership goes beyond mere economic transactions. It is about collaboration in sectors as diverse as movies, or films as we call them in the UK, technology and health. While we celebrate these successes this evening and the involvement of the NBCC, it is impossible to ignore JAPA. The growing trend of skilled professionals, especially in the medical sector, leaving Nigeria in search of better opportunities abroad. Through this, we're witnessing the migration of highly skilled labour to countries like the United States, Canada, and of course the UK. They seek better pay, and sometimes better career prospects. This brain drain is one of the most profound challenges Nigeria faces, in my opinion. One that can meet the needs of its rapidly growing population means we need to stop JAPA. I'll give you an example of how the healthcare from Nigeria radiates across the globe. In March this year, I had to go back to the UK for a relatively small operation. I was greeted by my doctor, Dr. Kemi. I said to Dr. Kemi, where are you from? She said, a place you'll never have heard of. It's called Lekki. I said, phase 1 or phase 2? She said, phase 2. The assistant nurse came in, Chinelo. She was from Ikeja. I was then guided for a scan by a native of Kano called Humphrey. I thought I was back in Lagos. If I now move on to education, recently it's made headlines here with the constructioning and opening of Charterhouse Lagos, of which I and dear Dr. Amma, as we've already heard, are both members of the Board of Advisors. It's one of the largest school buildings and campuses in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, once completed, it will accommodate over 1,000 boarders and a further 1,000 to 1,500 day pupils. It will employ more than 150 local school teachers, along with hundreds of support staff. This institution brings numerous benefits to Nigeria, not least of which is helping to curb the JAPA trend. Additionally, it will attract students from surrounding countries, offering high-quality education at costs at least half that of a child being educated abroad. This is great news for Lagos. I want now to move on to another piece of good news for Nigeria. One of the shining success stories, which is very close to my heart, is the growing relationship and the rise of Nollywood, Nigeria's vibrant film industry. It produces hundreds of films every year. It's estimated 50 per week, making it the second largest movie industry in the world, more than Hollywood. It captures the imagination of audiences across the world. As was mentioned earlier, I've been in 14 productions and I've just finished Ordinary People. I only work at night, by the way, and weekends, in case there are any producers or directors in the room. We've had visits from British film producers and directors. We recently were honoured to host, which the Deputy High Commissioner organised a visit from the British Film Institute, which was the second in the last 2 years. It takes Nigerian culture to the world stage. It's an export from Nigeria. Disney, Amazon Prime and Netflix have all commissioned productions here. Through these collaborations, Nigerian films and television shows are reaching new heights, creating jobs and boosting the economy. It's an example of how creative industries, if supported and nurtured, can become a major driver of both cultural exports and economic growth. However, it is also affected by JAPA. I have a movie development group where I originally had 179 members. 27 have now left for other countries. Nigeria's movie industry nonetheless remains a shining light of expertise, and again I say to you, we should be immensely proud of it. I now want to talk to you about technology, and particularly CGI. In addition to Nollywood, Nigeria is making great strides in the technology sector. One of the most exciting developments is computer-generated imagery and animation, where Nigerian studios are producing world-class content for global markets. Nigerian talent has contributed to major international productions. The CGI for Black Panther was made in Lagos. All CGI for Black Panther was made in Lagos. We've also contributed to the Avengers franchise. There's a team of 80 that work on it. This kind of collaboration between Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and of course the USA has helped propel Nigerian technology and creative industries onto the global stage, opening up new opportunities for business and entrepreneurs. I'm nearly finished. If I now move on to banking and insurance, the UK has long been an important partner in Nigeria's banking and insurance sectors, which provide vital financial services and expertise that have supported the country's economic growth. British financial institutions are honoured to have been involved in that and worked alongside Nigerian banks. Nigeria's banking system, facilitating digital banking solutions and financial inclusion, is actually one of the best in the world. Nigerian fintech companies turned into unicorns. They turned into unicorns like Flutterwave, Paystack and Moneypoint. They're attracting global attention, further solidifying Nigeria's role as a leading player in Africa's financial technological system. Let's move on to even more good news, the aviation sector. This sector in Nigeria is undergoing a promising transformation marked by significant milestones that underscore the potential for growth and global connectivity. A key development is Air Peace's recent launch of a direct route to London Gatwick, which I have travelled, and I've got to say I prefer Gatwick to Heathrow. This expansion of the airline industry not only boosts tourism and trade, but also underscores the resilience and ambition of Nigeria's private sector. Let's talk about another aviation company, Ibon Air. Their establishment with Airbus of a maintenance, repair and overhaul facility, an acronym of which is MRO, is groundbreaking. It's a step in reducing dependence on foreign services where Airbus planes have to fly out of Nigeria to be serviced. They can now be serviced at the MRO facility of Ibon Air. This cuts costs for the airlines. It creates jobs in Nigeria. And beautifully, it reduces CO2 because the planes aren't flying out of Nigeria. These achievements are a testament to the strides being made in the aviation sector by Nigerians leading that sector. It's not all bad news. I will then say, if I look at foreign direct investment, over the past 18 months, I've been collaborating with a Nigerian startup called IDEA, IDYHA, which is focused on raising foreign capital for well-managed African companies. Through my interactions, I've witnessed firsthand the fragility of investor confidence in Nigeria, largely due to macroeconomic challenges such as inflation and currency variations. That was a bit of a negative. So, the path to prosperity, a future built on collaboration. So as we look to the future, there is much to be excited about in the growing collaboration between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. From Nollywood and CGI to blockchain and fintech, we're creating new opportunities for innovation and growth. It is as we build towards prosperity, we must not forget the importance of nurturing the talents of our people at home. We must invest in education, healthcare, and infrastructure to ensure that we can retain and empower the professionals who are the backbone of Nigeria. Our mutual commitment, the United Kingdom and Nigeria, to shared values, employee welfare, sustainability, and inclusivity will be the driving force behind the next chapter of our partnership. Prosperity is not just about economic growth. It's about ensuring that all of our people, from Lagos to London, benefit from the progress we make. It is about creating a future where the wealth we generate is shared and distributed equitably, where every Nigerian has the opportunity to thrive. In conclusion, the journey from partnership to prosperity is already underway. You've heard of some good things in Nigeria. Together we can build a future where our nations grow side by side, creating opportunities, improving lives, and shaping a better future for future generations. And lastly, I rest assured you will agree with me that Nigerian Owambe jollof rice is the best in the world. Thank you.